It began with a whisper, a quiet, trembling sentence that broke through the silence like a shattered mirror. "I'll never forget you, even when the music stops." Those were the final words Taehyung whispered to Park Bo-gum on the last day of filming CANTABILE, words so raw, so full of unspoken pain, that the entire set fell into stunned silence. But no one felt it more deeply than Bo-gum himself, whose eyes brimmed with tears that refused to be held back. This wasn't just acting anymore. This was real. This was goodbye, and yet no one saw it coming. From the very first teaser of CANTABILE, the chemistry between Taehyung and Park Bo-gum felt like something beyond fiction. It was subtle yet electric, two souls mirroring each other through a symphony of emotion, silence, and longing. Audiences were captivated not just by the plot, but by what seemed to be unfolding off camera too, a bond too powerful to be faked, too fragile to last forever. As each episode aired, fans around the world began to sense that CANTABILE wasn't just another K-drama. It was a love letter to friendship, to art, to grief, and perhaps to something deeper. Between each line of dialogue, behind every glance, there was an ache, a quiet tension that kept fans guessing. Was this only acting? Or were Taehyung and Bo-gum saying something they couldn't say out loud? And then came the final episode, shot in a breathtaking, candlelit concert hall. The last scene of CANTABILE was unlike anything the production team had done before. Instead of dialogue, the scene relied entirely on music, silence, and eye contact. No script, just raw emotion. As the orchestra swelled and the lights dimmed, Taehyung's character turned to Bo-gum, trembling, eyes shimmering with tears. It was supposed to end there. But something changed. The cameras kept rolling. The director didn't yell, "Cut." And in that stillness, Taehyung stepped out of character, looked straight into Bo-gum's eyes, and whispered those fateful words, "I'll never forget you, even when the music stops." Bo-gum froze. His face crumbled. And suddenly, the tears that had been held back for months came flooding out, unstoppable, because only they knew what those words really meant. What fans didn't know, what hadn't been revealed until that moment, was that CANTABILE was more than just a project. For both of them, it had been a refuge. A shared space where they could express the parts of themselves they usually kept hidden from the world. Taehyung, often burdened by the pressure of being a global icon, found in Bo-gum a quiet place to rest. And Bo-gum, carrying his own silent weight, found in Taehyung someone who understood him without explanation. Behind the scenes, they were inseparable. Late-night script readings turned into philosophical conversations. Quiet rehearsals transformed into jam sessions at the piano. There were unspoken glances, small gestures, a hand on a shoulder, a shared laugh after a long shoot that fans noticed, but never fully understood, until now. As word of the final scene leaked online, fans began piecing the puzzle together. It wasn't just the acting that moved millions, it was the truth bleeding through the fiction. Clips of Bo-gum crying uncontrollably during filming went viral. Hashtags like #CANTABILE finale, #Taehyung last words, and #Bo-gum breakdown trended worldwide. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform exploded with tributes, theories, and heartbreak. But perhaps the most emotional reaction came from the cast and crew themselves. The director, known for being stoic, admitted in an interview that he had never seen such an authentic moment captured on screen. It wasn't just a goodbye to a drama. It was a goodbye between two people who found something rare and had to let it go. Yet, even as the curtain fell on CANTABILE, the story didn't truly end. A week after the finale aired, Bo-gum posted a cryptic photo on Instagram. It was a single image, a piano, one key broken, with a wilted rose placed gently on top. No caption. But fans knew exactly what it meant. Within minutes, Taehyung replied with a single emoji, musical note broken heart, and then came the twist that no one expected. A behind-the-scenes documentary was quietly uploaded to weverse, titled CANTABILE, the notes they never played. In it, Taehyung spoke candidly for the first time about his experience filming the drama. Sitting in a dimly lit room, hands clasped, he said, "I thought I understood friendship before this. But Bo-gum showed me a kind of trust one never experienced, even in the spotlight. This project saved me in ways I can't describe." The camera cut to Bo-gum, his voice trembling sometimes. It's not the music that heals, it's the silence between the notes. And in that silence, I found him. Their words struck deep. The fandom, already emotionally raw, erupted with emotion once again. Thousands flooded comment sections with personal stories of friendship, loss, and connection. CANTABILE had become more than just entertainment. It had become a mirror to the viewers' own hearts. And then, in the final frame of the documentary, Taehyung was seen writing something in a notebook. The camera zoomed in just enough to catch the last line. Some symphonies don't end. They just fade into the hearts of those who listened. It was poetic. It was heartbreaking. And it was perfect. Even now, weeks after the final episode aired, the echoes of CANTABILE still linger. Fan art, tribute videos, emotional edits of their scenes together, they fill timelines across the world. But beyond all the content, it's the feeling that remains. The ache, the beauty, the reminder that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that blur the line between fiction and truth. Taehyung and Park Bo-gum may have left the stage, but their performance, both on screen and off, will echo in the hearts of fans for years to come. So, if you've ever felt the quiet magic of a connection that changed your life, if you've ever had to say goodbye before you were ready, if you believe that some bonds defy the end credits, then CANTABILE was your story too, and maybe, just maybe, the music hasn't really stopped. I'll never forget you, even when the music stops. Those were the words Taehyung whispered to Park Bo-gum in the final moments of filming CANTABILE. And they weren't part of the script. The cameras were still rolling, the lights were dim, and the set had gone silent. Everyone thought the scene was done. But Taehyung wasn't finished. Bo-gum's eyes widened. Then, slowly, they filled with tears. His lips trembled. For a moment, it wasn't acting. It was something far more real. The pain in his eyes, the way his shoulders collapsed, this was a goodbye that neither of them had rehearsed. CANTABILE, from the beginning, had felt different. The story of two artists broken in their own ways, learning to find healing through music. It resonated deeply with fans around the world. But what no one expected was how deeply it would reflect the reality behind the scenes. Taehyung and Bo-gum weren't just playing characters. They were slowly revealing parts of themselves, vulnerabilities, unspoken emotions, hidden pain. The chemistry between them wasn't forced. It was natural, electric, fragile. Late-night practices turned into emotional conversations. Silent glances during filming spoke louder than dialogue. It wasn't long before fans began to wonder, is this just acting? In the final episode, the two characters were supposed to part ways, one heading off to Europe to pursue music, the other staying behind. It was meant to be quiet, bittersweet, but not devastating, until Taehyung broke the silence. Bo-gum's emotional collapse in that moment wasn't in the script. It was genuine. That's why it broke the internet. Fans cried watching it, not because it was sad, but because it felt real. And it was. Shortly after, Bo-gum posted a photo of a broken piano key and a single rose. No caption, just silence. But it spoke volumes. Taehyung commented with a single emoji, musical note, broken heart, and then came the documentary, CANTABILE, the notes they never played. In it, both actors opened up about how deeply the project affected them. Taehyung admitted that Bo-gum had become someone he leaned on in ways he never had before. Bo-gum said, "Some silences are louder than words," and Taehyung filled mine with music. It wasn't just a drama. It was a chapter of their lives. And the final page had been turned. Even now, weeks later, fans are still mourning the ending. Edits of the final scene have gone viral. Hashtags like #Taehyung last words and #CANTABILE finale still trend. And everywhere, people are saying the same thing. This wasn't just a goodbye on screen. It was real. And maybe that's why it hurts so much, because sometimes the most beautiful symphonies end in silence.